Tom Walsh tracked down our next guest, who is moving jobs, from what I understand, from China, get this now, to not only the United States, but Michigan. David Schowalter is checking in on a direct line now from your, Collegiate Bead location there in Royal Oak. What is the product you manufacture, and where has it been made over the years, David?
Well, the product we manufacture is a sterling silver bead that's designed to be an add-on product to one of those most popular jewelry lines available today, and that's the Pandora-style bracelet. And our beads, what makes them unique is it carries the logos and the school colors of colleges and universities, as well as sororities throughout the country.
How many beads do you figure you sell, or did you sell last year?
Last year we approached 55,000 units.
Not bad at all. Where were they being made?
Well, up until recently, and unfortunately, we were making these beads over in China. We were doing some domestic production, but our volume pretty quickly outstripped our capacity, and we gave it a shot. We really tried hard to keep the production here in the States, but we were forced for a short period of time to go overseas with it.
How much? I don't know if you knew how much the company that were manufacturing your beads in China were paying the employees, but how much more do you think it would have cost you to make them? But now you're doing that to make them here in the U.S., to make them here in Michigan.
Well, interestingly enough, two things happened. Number one is we were able to raise our quality substantially by having made in the States, and we didn't experience any increase in production costs. In fact, we saw several reductions in our manufacturing costs. So it's actually less expensive to produce in the States and a much higher quality.
Well, how is that when we, as you well know, David Schowalter, you do this for a living, hear stories about how the Chinese workers making, $1.75 for the day, not for an hour, but far less than what it costs employers to pay workers here in this country?
There's, I think, a couple of misconceptions out there, but I think the biggest thing that we saw is for us to be able to license and have product made overseas, we have to deal with companies that only adhere to fair labor laws and standards. So before the schools, universities, and their licensing bodies will approve an overseas factory, they've got to pass some pretty strict criteria, wages, working conditions, along those lines before they'll approve them.
And
so it might be the same thing for textile or different for textiles, but in our particular case, working with the universities, they make sure that those things don't happen.
So your Collegiate Bead of Royal Oak, licensing these logos for the beads that go on bracelets like Pandora, very popular to be sure. You're hoping you're going to sell maybe 55,000 beads this year. Where will you do that, and how many people will you employ?
Well, currently we're selling across the country to retailers, and what we're looking to do now is, as we increase our product line to include finished jewelry, beads we look at as a stepping stone. We see great opportunity in the collegiate market, and the one thing I like to say is today's collegiate jewelry was designed by a 50-year-old man 30 years ago. It's not relevant to today's young people, today's styling. So what we're doing is we're taking and bringing that styling forward to today's taste. So when those products are introduced and as these lines develop, sky's the limit for the amount of people that we can employ both on the sales side and the manufacturing side. And as you know, today's retail business model is shifting more towards internet-based. So if we can develop order fulfillment in the state of Michigan, it begins to create not only manufacturing jobs, but quite a few in the service industry.
Where in Michigan will you make your product?
Well, we're making it in a combination of places right now. We're making it in Royal Oak, and then we also recently have a relationship with a company called Terryberry in Grand Rapids. They're a 100-year-old manufacturing company, and I tell you, it was the best thing that happened to us since this project began was developing that relationship with not only an American manufacturer, but one that's right here in our backyard in Grand Rapids.
Well, good for you, David Schowalter, bringing back your production of the beads, the collegiate beads from China to the state of Michigan. You'll keep us posted on how you're growing as well, okay? Folks can go online and just look up Collegiate Bead?
They can go online, look up Collegiate Bead Company, and then for purchases, you can look at minersden.com.
Got it. Thanks a lot, David. Good luck.
Thanks. Have a good day.